We have proof of this, actually, because you have space station employees like astronauts. When they come back to Earth, they are taller than they were when they went up because the joints...
Space station employees?
NASA employees, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it was just
big brain.
Great phrasing.
Welcome back to Talk About Nerds, your timely source for all things geeky. My name is Sindre, and with me I have my magically gifted friend Åvar.
Hello.
And my Icelandic counterpart, Krismundur, or Krissi if you want.
Hello.
Episode 15 of Talk About Nerds is a product of Nords and Nerds, a media group where we play Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and make the Talk About Nerds podcast. You can find everything we do on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify at Nords and Nerds. Today's episode is sponsored by Victory Point, your local hobby store in Bryne, Norway. Victory Point has a large gaming area where the communities and in-store play are the number one priority. If you're looking for a new Warhammer army, or if you're interested in buying the games we're talking about, check out victorypoint.no. Currently only ships to addresses in Norway.
Victory Point, the starting point of your victories.
Cool. We have a new, what do we call you? Host, guests, GM. Person of interest.
Co-hosts and, I guess, a buddy.
Another dungeon master on the podcast.
I'm not your buddy, pal. I'm not your pal, friend. I'm not your friend.
We're all good friends in here.
I'm too far away.
No, I just said before we started that you're also a DM.
Mm. Yeah, so now it's quite soon. It'll be a good time to make a proper DM episode.
Yes.
Yeah, because we now, all three of us actually have a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and especially Dungeon Master or Game Master experience.
Mm.
Getting there.
Mine is mainly D&D. I believe Krismundur has played a couple of other systems, yes?
Yeah, I've played quite a few systems.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, amongst others.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're DMing a group here every Tuesday and every other Tuesday and every other Friday.
Now, my every other Tuesday game where I DM has been going on for 2 years now. Just past that point. Yeah. And one of my players started a game on the other Tuesdays, which now I'm a player in. So I finally get to play something.
Yay! Not forever GM.
And after he said that, you know that he was very humble when he said that he's getting there.
Mm.
He's very experienced.
He's very experienced.
What the hell are you talking about? I started DMing the second time I came in here. That was the first time I DM'd.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I could.
And I have technically GM'd longer than you have, but
yes,
very sporadically.
Yeah. The mix of how often and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, so he's probably GM'd more than I have, but I started earlier. But you're probably more experienced than
He
I
actually showed up here as a player to my first session, and then for my second one, I couldn't be here. So he stepped up and took over.
Nice.
He had some player experience before then, so it wasn't like he didn't know the game or anything.
I've been playing since I was 14. So.
And I understand. Makes more sense then.
Yeah, and you're 30-something now, so...
Yeah, 30, almost 33 now.
Ooh, fancy.
So you're going to be 33 this year?
Yes.
Damn it, I'm still the oldest, son of a...
And I'm still the youngest.
So angry. Old man grumbling.
Since we have a new co-host again, I think we should start with you. If you have anything interesting you would like to tell people or anything interesting you do. We now know that you play Dungeons & Dragons, but what's your nerd or geek credentials, if I dare ask?
Technically not necessary, but
no,
come on.
I just want to know.
Where the hell should I start? Well,
board games?
Board games, playing all of that. I mean, I had a short stint with Magic the Gathering. Not really that much anymore. Oh God! I mean, if drawing counts as,
definitely.
Comics and such, since the dawn of my age.
Very, very nerdy.
Yes. Oh God.
Was born with a comic book in your hand.
Yeah, pretty much. I had
Same actually, but I didn't draw any. I should have.
Yeah, me and my friend, like very early on, like my childhood friend, the two of us would get together every day and draw comics together. That
Sweet.
really like got me into a whole lot of that. And his bigger brother was like the biggest nerd I have ever known, who got the two of us into D&D and role playing.
Sweet.
And from that point on, he was my forever DM.
Yeah.
Until I moved here.
Yeah, one of the 3 Icelandic DMs. One of the 3 dungeon masters on Iceland.
Yes.
The rest left.
We're talking about nerd stuff. I've been all over the place.
Yeah, all the movies and all the TV series and all the things.
All the animes and all the mangas and whatever you could
Very
name.
nerdy.
Books.
Yes, quite a bit. I mean, just now I'm still working my way far along through the Dresden Files series.
Dresden Files, yes.
Oh.
I'm currently finishing Gideon the Ninth. It's a very interesting necromancer story.
Ooh, cool.
I just started reading The Expanse, but I'm having a hard time getting into it.
Just
It's a hard start.
might take you a while. It's like Game of Thrones. The first book is like difficult, and then you like it flows
That's the book that the series is based on?
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So,
Because
so
I watched The
I
Expanse.
started watching the first season the day after New Year's, I think, for a few years ago. We were very hungover.
And then you never finished it?
No, I didn't continue because I never continue series when I start watching them hungover
Yeah.
with a lot of friends because
So you
there's
should
a lot of
actually never
talking
watch
and-
anything hungover.
No, not really. but you have to have something on the TV when you have.
Yeah, but then you
friends
watch
lying
something
on the
you've
couch.
already watched.
Yeah, but that's not. That's also fun. It is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that.
poking
yeah.
holes in all your logics.
Yeah. No, so I decided to start reading the books and then see this show after again. That's probably going to be good.
Yeah, I've heard from a few people who've done both. I've only seen the series, but
Same.
I absolutely loved it. It has a very different feeling of like
True.
the sci-fi feeling. Now my Vampire the Masquerade campaign, which was meant to be short anyway, has come to an end.
Oh.
Which is a highlight for me. I've never had a campaign end properly, but we're still at some point gonna maybe take 2 or 3 sessions with a small story characters, but it still felt very good to like, yes, we managed to get to this point.
Yeah.
Tried like a shorter campaign with Vampire the Masquerade just because I had an end point, an end goal in mind. I wanted to get to it, like try and get to it a bit faster, which worked out really great. And I do recommend that just on planning on just, okay, plan for a 10 session game or something like that.
Yeah.
Like an arc. You can always pick it up again.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about doing the Curse of Strahd one.
We tried to
running
do that
now.
once, but it all fell apart because no one had time.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to play. I might do a
Consistently.
private group, just friends and alcohol. I think Curse of Strahd could do with some alcohol. Yeah.
I'm free some days.
Yeah.
I'm usually busy on Saturdays and Sundays.
That could be fun.
But yeah, I joined that.
It would have to be like a monthly game or something.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But for a longer session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole
Like a
Sunday.
6, 7,
So
8
it's
hour
like we're playing on Saturday from 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Bring booze.
That sounds like fun.
Yes.
I've been sitting here since you asked the question thinking, did I do anything interesting like the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I couldn't come up with anything. I haven't done that much, but then I realized, wait, I watched Shazam 2 in the cinema.
Shazam 2?
Shazam 2, The Fury of Gods.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Black Adam for some
No.
reason. Yeah.
That movie has...
Meh.
It's very interesting to read all the news about it because it didn't really get any marketing.
Really?
No, because...
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah,
It's mostly because the DC universe is being retired, and Shazam is sort of part of that old DCU, and they're killing it off.
Yeah.
So why market the movie that's not really building to anything when it's in one of those kind of...
Yeah.
and also because of Black Adam and the Rock seems to have been he seems to have been fucking over a lot of things over there, like strong arming literally probably a lot of the people at DC.
I believe one of the things that The Rock did was strong arm them into bringing back Henry Cavill to play Superman. Was one of them.
And I think
it's like, we're using a new Superman actor to play Superman. It's like, no.
Stop.
No.
Changing people out.
Yeah, but The Rock literally went to like the higher ups and was like, no.
Yeah.
You're bringing back Henry Cavill.
I think that's part of the reason why they're trying to just dump everything that had to do with DCU.
Possibly.
Because people are too emotional about the existing properties.
Yeah.
Which I would think would make for a cash cow.
Do you know what? Speaking Henry Cavill, I'm looking forward to Warhammer. That's going to be nice.
But no, Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was fun. The marketing was nowhere to be seen, so I barely remembered that the movie came out.
I feel like I've been seeing commercials from it, at least online.
Online, like on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
But like when Black Adam came out, I remember seeing like posters in the
bus stations
and everything,
stuff,
and on the back of buses.
That movie was, in my opinion, very meh.
Yeah,
very meh.
It feels like most of the DCE like universe thing has been meh.
Yeah.
Another
movie I expected more from. It was better than meh, which is the newest Ant-Man. Into the
Quantumania.
Quantumania, that's the one. The visuals, beautiful, fantastic. The story, The villain, very cool, but not built properly on. So
and I think it's a bit out there while still not being cool out there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like with Guardians of the Galaxy, when they really just went, screw everything, this is funny. The first one, that really gave them the confidence to make a movie like Quantumania, which is it's very far from what Iron Man 1 was.
Yeah.
It's very far from mainstream.
As I said, Quantumania, very visually pleasing.
Yeah.
The story...
It really feels good when Marvel tries out like big new things.
Yeah.
Like they did with Thor Ragnarok. But then they try and keep the momentum going.
With Love and Thunder.
Yes.
And that's a little bit too much.
Then it just goes off.
Yeah.
On the note of Quantumania and the bad guy, I don't remember his name, but he's
neither do I. Kang.
Yeah, but the actor.
Oh, no idea.
But he was arrested this weekend on domestic abuse.
Oh no!
So
we don't like that actor anymore.
The outcome there is, we might have to recast the guy.
Damn it!
Do you think the guy's gonna show up again, like the character?
Yeah, they're building up to him being the main villain.
You have seen the movie? No. Okay, then do you want to see it? Watch it?
Yeah, I'll probably see it at some point. But
have you seen Loki?
Yes.
Yeah. Same guy as in the end there.
Yeah, the ending of Loki, you see Kang,
and it's not a secret because he's in a lot of the promotional material.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And the extra scene at the end of the movie Quantumania, you're going to see Kang again. So
okay.
So Kang will be the big villain like Thanos was, and he will show up in probably most of the movies coming out of Marvel until the end of this phase.
I hope the accusations are false, because he's a very good actor.
Yeah, he's fun.
If they are true, it's
a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame, but justice for domestic abuse, which is unacceptable.
Exactly.
But I hope it's like just media hype bullshit. I hope it is.
So I know they are fighting the claims.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Kang is, I know a little bit about him from before. They haven't revealed that much about him, but one of the things that they are hinting at is that he basically he learns about time travel in a way, or not time travel, but
timeline,
time and dimensional travel. And so he is in every single.
This you know from Loki, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the timeline shift.
He can
there.
observe and manipulate timelines.
Yeah.
And he does a lot.
Oh yeah.
And he exterminates universes.
Yeah.
He's interesting.
All of that is like revealed in Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Loki season 2 is also coming out
You
soon.
can see who it is now. Yeah.
No.
That's not what he looks like in Loki, though.
No.
No, but I get the idea, like from the comics.
Yeah. Yeah, because in Loki he looks like an administrator sitting behind a desk when they go to the house in the space place.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Åvar? Do you have anything new or interesting happening?
Well, I watched the D&D movie,
Ooh.
Honor Among Thieves.
That came out on Friday, I believe.
Yeah, I watched it on Sunday.
Very
Coincidentally, I was playing D&D, and then we were informed that it was going at 7, so we went. I'm not going to spoil anything. I can reveal that it's a fair representation of D&D. The characters are nice.
Is it better than the old movie? Do you remember the 2001?
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Some parts are better. Some parts are cutbacks to that movie, actually.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
And they have a couple of cool creatures, and some of the spells are like, oh, that's a nifty use of that spell. And
okay.
so it's fairly well balanced. And the characters are mostly funny and I would say relatable, but
yeah. Does it really like do the game justice?
Yeah, I think it's a fair enough representation of D&D.
Okay.
My favorite is still The Gamers 1, 2, and 3. Well, 1 and 2. You have watched that, yes? The Gamers.
I feel like I've watched it. Yeah.
If not, I'm going to link it to you. It's on YouTube. It's excellent.
But
yeah, me too.
so you're telling us that you guys went from playing D&D to watching the movie, like straight up.
What do you mean?
You played D&D?
Oh yeah, we played D&D on
movie.
Sunday, and during the session, like 1 hour before the movie was going to show, one of the guys was like, "Do you know the D&D movie is going up in 1 hour?" And it's like, "Sweet!" And then we went, and it was nice.
Interesting. That's like awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
Like, yeah.
Like
you're already in the D&D mindset, and
yeah.
Let's go see the movie.
Yeah, well,
and it's new
was
and
perfect.
everything.
Everyone who was with me, we were a total of like 6 people, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 5. No, 6 with me.
Yeah.
I always forget the GM.
Gotta count yourself.
Every time.
Yeah.
I have 5 players. And what about you?
What do you mean? Do we count?
We don't count
No,
for
we
some
don't
reason.
count. I have the same problem every time someone asks me, like, how many are you when you play? And I say 4, 5. Yeah, 5. You're 5 players.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm also there.
Yeah, that's the problem I had right now.
Yeah.
So it's 6 people, 5 players that time. We're on average between 4 to 6. On average, it's 5-ish.
Yeah, I've gone over 6, but
I had
much.
8 players once.
Yeah, that's a mistake you don't do again.
I did it once, as I said.
It's not that terrible for the DM.
No, but
You
for
can
the players,
see in their faces that they're bored.
they're losing focus,
Especially when you get
starting
to
to sit on their phones.
Or actually when you get to dialogue as well. You have 2 people talking and then...
Yeah, but when I had the 8 players, I had them... I should probably... I'll reveal it now. We're going to have a podcast about D&D and RPGs, I think. So they were dropped in a mansion in pairs of 2s in different parts of the mansion. So I was like, what are you 2 doing? We're moving out through that door. Okay, what are you doing? So I was switching between the groups continuously. So it was only 4 groups.
Cool.
So it worked, but
yeah,
ADH people, no.
I would like to hear more about that when we do our D&D episode. That would be interesting.
Next time or some other time.
We probably have a lot of stories, all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so this week's theme
is
time travel. And in that sense, we watched a movie again, just like last time. This time we watched Primer. You didn't watch it, Åvar.
Unfortunately, I had complications and forgetfulness.
Yeah. It happens. We don't always have time, but the two of us, we watched it.
We managed to.
And you can just jump in the conversation at any time. I'm going to start by just telling everyone about the movie, like what's on EMDb and that kind of thing. Because this is an indie movie. It won an award at Sundance. I know.
I saw a small factoid, which was apparently it cost like $6,000 to make.
Yeah, 6,000 or 7,000. It was
which is
cheap.
nothing. That's nothing. So that's like the camera.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It won the feature film prize and the grand jury prize at Sundance, and it was a winner at Village Voice Film. So it's a very popular movie at these indie film festivals and also the big festivals.
Yeah.
And the movie, the text on the movie here is 4 friends / fledgling entrepreneurs, knowing that there is something bigger and more innovative than the different error-checking devices they've built, wrestle over their new invention. First off, I'll go out and say that this description is wrong and bad.
Yeah.
So they're not fighting over new inventions, as far as I can tell. They do hide an invention.
Yeah, and it goes quite quickly from 4 to the 2 main.
Yeah, I think they have 5 minutes into the movie, and we don't see the 2 other guys until late in the movie, and then it's just 2 minutes of them, and then back, or 10 seconds of them.
Okay, why do they drop off? For no reason?
They just don't fit into the story.
Oh.
They don't have anything to do with the story, except that
really.
They have like a small company that the 4 of them run together where they do small inventions.
Yeah, like there were these 4 like garage entrepreneurs making some device that was supposed to do some sort of
like gravity magnet thing.
Yeah, like lessen the mass of something that was inside.
Oh.
But then they found out that it actually
bends time.
Yeah, bends time in a way that in a strange way. It was I had to watch a video on YouTube that like explained the timeline.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I considered rewatching the movie. It's just an hour and 17 minutes, so I considered just watching it one more time.
I want to watch it and see if I get it on the first try.
Yeah, try.
I realized
I'm gonna try.
I realized when I watched the YouTube video that there was one pivotal second of the movie that I missed that would have explained like half of the things that I didn't understand. And the director did this on purpose. He says that he didn't want to make it obvious and didn't want to explain everything and stuff like that, but he also omits facts, which is like a little bit annoying. He hides things that he somehow expects you to understand.
Yeah, but that's like basic crime novels.
Yeah. No, but he never reveals it.
Oh, so he just omits it completely.
You have to read between the lines, basically. And you can interpret it in a different way if you want to, which changes a little bit of the movie. So I don't like that part. I feel like he overdid the trying to be clever. Smart. Yeah. He's also starring in the movie himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the main character.
He's one of them, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the main characters.
Usually not a good sign.
The main character, actually.
Usually. But this movie actually surprised me in how well produced it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really shocked me with like the use of what you would think was a bad camera, which by the budget it probably is a bad camera, but the use of everything, like every cinematographical
trick,
to make it feel like almost feel like you're there, like with these guys
in the room, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's showing you a lot of things when they're like building the machine and such, and even later when it's just the 2 of them, when they've like when they've
completed.
Yeah, almost completed, or like made it work for a person, because the first iteration wasn't big enough for one person, so they had to make it
bigger. To expand it.
So what they do is they're making like these small devices, but they have nothing that they can actually get a patent on, and they're trying to make money, and they're working out of their garage, 4 guys sharing some guy's garage.
Yeah,
trying to make a living while also doing their normal job. And then these 2 guys get an idea. I'm not quite sure how they get the idea, what sparks it, and how they make this thing. They just seem to make it. They just start buying stuff and put it together. I don't feel like they had any like reveal of how they got the idea or.
No,
where it
I
came
mean
from.
the whole technical part isn't really talked. It was just they were fiddling around with it and it worked.
Yeah, but
And-
it
and
didn't.
then it
they didn't
goes-
plan what it was going to do. It surprised them.
Yeah, in a way.
To be fair, that's a fair enough a way to do it, because if you need to go into specific, it's like the Flumdebiddler does this, and it's like
Yeah.
But they do
You will
explain.
always have
They
nerdy
do in
people.
detail explain how it works, which is very interesting. So basically, you have a machine, and you turn it on, and then after say 6 hours, if you put something in it,
it sends it back to the
back
6
to the
hours
time
it
it
was.
started.
So it's kind of more a stasis thing, actually.
Or
But the reverse
or-
stasis?
Yeah, a reverse.
Stasis.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand.
kind of reversing the tape.
Yeah. So the first one they make is big enough to put a watch in, basically, and stuff like a cup size.
Yeah. An apple.
And they do put a lot of things in it and try to do things. And how they realize that it's time travel is like build up of mushroom stuff. on
Yeah,
the
I
watch and
understand.
stuff like that.
Mm.
And then they decide to make it big enough for a person. They
That
no,
always ends
actually,
well.
It's more interesting than that. They don't get. They do talk about it, and then suddenly one of them show up and tell him to come
Do
with me.
something. Mm.
Yeah, there's the big shocker moment.
Yeah, they talk about the theory, and then he suggests that maybe we should do it in a cooled warehouse or a temperature controlled warehouse.
Mhm.
And then he looks over himself, and you see the temperature controlled warehouse in the background. And then you see the other guy walking by while also sitting there talking to him.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God, you actually did it. You made it work.
And then they start talking about it, and then they start going back in time, or they start going to the stasis, and then checking the. They start the machine, wait in a hidden hotel room, get the lottery, not the lottery number, stock options. They
Yeah.
see what stocks do well.
Yeah.
They get back into the machine, go back in time, win money. And then all hell breaks loose.
Of course.
Yes, I mean the latter half of the movie, you need to focus a bit to like keep up.
Very much focused. We both had to go to YouTube.
I mean, by the way that the movie starts like very slow, and it's a slow burn movie.
And
But
then
like,
at the end, it's just like
pretty much.
So
Then there's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, now there's murder, and now this guy's,
dead, but he's not, and then he's back again.
and then they're like trying to go into the same iteration of the timeline to get it,
sabotage each other or something.
yeah, or like to save somebody, and like there's
Yeah.
so much happening, like
there's so many
so
timelines
many
as well.
things.
Yeah.
And so sort of you get this day to day, they're talking about things, having fun, drinking, eating, going back in time, buying stocks, winning money, getting more and more money and everything. And they talk about theories about what could happen if they did this and this and this. And then suddenly they see someone that they saw that morning, but they look much older and much more disheveled. Like they saw them clean shave in the morning, and then they had a lot of beard in the evening. And they're like, how did that person travel to time? And so the guy who showed him time travel, so I'm just going to spoil everything now.
No.
We have already spoiled a lot.
No.
Yeah.
But that guy, he had set up a backup machine that he started before the one that he actually started using. So he goes into that machine, goes back to before the first
machine,
time
yeah, I
he went
understand.
back in time to sort of like stop this. What he
A
does,
safety net.
Yeah.
I would call
it was a fail safe.
Yeah, fail safe.
I think he called it.
That's what he called it. Which is like, okay, but that also means that this happened before they actually started everything the first we saw. So we technically saw him already in the start, because anything that happens already happened, kind of thing. It's not like the time doesn't change when he goes back again, stuff like that. It's consistent. So if it's going to happen, it's already happened.
Yeah, it's predetermined time travel.
Yeah,
Because
you think of it as the fixed timeline.
But
yeah, it's
They're going back on it.
I was about to say it's the loop concept, because we saw this, we saw ourselves doing the thing with the cool down temperature controlled unit, so now we have to do it
Yeah.
because we have already done it.
Yes.
And then you have actually what started making them worried was that he forgot to leave his phone in one of them, and so his phone rang while he was waiting for his counterpart in the other timeline. They were in the same time.
Okay.
And when he went back, he was supposed to leave his phone in the room. So they picked up the phone again the next time, but he forgot to do it, and his phone rang. And the way phones work like this is that it can only connect to one phone at a time.
Yeah.
So the fact that it connected to his phone means that it didn't connect to his phone.
So you break
or whatever.
Well, technically break the time loop.
Yeah, and that's when things started to get fucked up. But what the first guy didn't know about, the first failsafe guy, is that the other guy also made a failsafe because he found out about his failsafe. So he also went back, and this is where I lost it completely because I didn't notice. I didn't notice who did what when he kidnapped himself. I didn't see that he did that to himself.
Yeah, I don't understand why he would.
Yeah.
That's when I lost it, because he kidnapped himself.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
When he used
like some previous
second failsafe, he went back, kidnapped himself, put himself in the loft to stop himself from doing something, going to a party or something. I don't.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
you can imagine our feeling at this point.
Yeah, I understand why.
But he then later used the failsafe again. And started fighting himself outside the room where he had kidnapped himself. You see how this sort of
I understand. I understand why you had to go to YouTube. Yeah, I get it.
Especially since they try to not tell you what happens. They try to hide it. They try to subvert you, but it's awesome, and I like the concept of time travel in this. With how you have to plan your time traveling, and you can only travel back in time.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck because you can't travel back forward again.
Yeah, and it feels like they didn't put enough thought into like how bad they could fuck it up, even though they put like failsafes all over the place. But still needed some like critical thinking into.
Yeah, because based on what you explained, it sounds like multiple paradoxes occurred, which should technically break a time loop.
So in the end,
based on nerd theory.
But due to what happened, he did tell his counter self. They agreed eventually that he would go back in the box and everything. But the guy locked in the attic at the end of the movie, he's still there. So there are two of him. Yeah,
so then it's not a time loop; it's a tree. Because you have separating timelines.
It became a tree because of that,
It's the Dragon Ball time travel.
Yeah, they broke the loop, and now there are two of them. One of them agreed to travel to somewhere, I don't remember where, but like a tropical island or something.
South Africa.
Yeah, so there are now two of them existing in the world. At the
same time. Then it's no longer a time loop. It's no longer a line. It's a diverging path. Multiverse theory. Because if it's linear, only one timeline, then there cannot be multiples of the same person, because that would be a paradox, which should correct itself.
Yeah.
But if there are multiples, then you can have the multiverse theory where there exists a separate timeline where you have done different choices.
Yeah.
So that's not time travel technically, but at the same time it is.
So in this movie, there's always at least two of one person if one person is traveling.
Yeah, because they had to, while...
You turn on the box and you wait, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back.
To that point when the box
and then
was turned on.
So while you're waiting, the other you, the future you, is living in that time, the same time.
I understand.
Yeah.
Which,
So they were avoiding the paradox by hiding out while So, like, there were...
the one going in current time is living their life, while the person that goes back in time has to hide.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then has to go into that box.
And then,
but it does turn out that you don't have to go into the
back.
box.
Yeah.
But why didn't he have to go into the box? I don't remember.
I'll have to watch it. Don't try to explain it.
Yeah.
You have to go to YouTube and understand
that causes the paradox.
We're already confusing ourselves trying to explain it.
I will probably have to go to YouTube to understand it myself.
Yeah, definitely. And it says the headiest, most singular science fiction movie since Kubrick made 2001.
2001 is the I can't do that, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Odyssey.
That one was spicy.
Yeah.
So that is some high praise for
Yeah.
for a movie.
Yeah, it's insanely good. It has a 6.8 because 2.2% of the population. No,
Didn't understand
3.2,
it.
I mean, math. 3.2% of the population didn't understand it.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
It's a complex.
It's very
Yeah, I
fair.
think so.
It's a very complex concept, and it's very difficult to keep track of. Apparently,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
By the
think
way it's made.
I think for me, the thing that broke it for me is that the fighting scenes and the scenes where he kidnapped himself and everything was a bit too dark and a bit too hard to see that it was him.
oh yeah. So it was intentionally
You probably
obscured.
saw that it was him that kidnapped himself.
Yeah. Like at the end, I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah.
I understand now. Yeah.
But if it had been easier to see that it was himself, then I would have caught that part at least. That he,
Yeah. But that's where the budget comes in. They couldn't manage like a double.
A proper double. Yes.
Yeah.
no.
Not with $6,000.
But the two friends, they didn't matter at all in the movie.
That's probably one of the doubles.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the reason why he made the extra failsafe and everything is that he tried to go back in time to fix something. Someone
always do.
tried to kill someone at a party, and he had to try to stop it properly so that it didn't do it in the future.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah. That was the point where it really goes off the rails.
Yeah. But it was a fun movie. I liked it, and I could watch it again sometime.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that we noticed that we didn't last time.
Oh yes, this is definitely a movie that's made for a second watch.
Yeah, I'm probably going to watch it maybe this evening, possibly. We'll see.
Yeah. But for time travel, I think they do a good job of like short-term, quick time travel around the same time.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Instead of like long distance time travel.
You don't get to see like far back in the time, far forward or anything.
Yeah.
They're just looping one day.
Local time travel.
Yeah. Almost Groundhog Day, but on purpose.
Yeah.
On that note, Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
That's
a very, very entertaining movie.
I saw
you know what? I'll have to watch it.
You haven't?
No, I haven't
seen
watched it.
So basically, Groundhog Day is now, it's not just a movie anymore, it's a concept of time travel.
Yeah. So
where you wake up a day.
do you know of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the concept?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a guy that wakes up in this podunk city somewhere out in America, who's a reporter that's going to report on Groundhog Day, which is a local tradition to see if the year is going to be nice or not.
Strange American tradition.
Yeah. And then he lives through that day, and then he wakes up in the same day and does it again.
In the first loop,
again.
does he travel or anything, or does he just?
No, he
go to
just
bed?
goes to sleep and then wakes up in the same bed.
Yeah, so he was supposed to travel home the day after.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see in the start how he just tries to escape it.
Yeah.
He tries to find a way out of it, and then,
tries different, talking to different people, doing different things like quitting his job, and then when nothing works, he starts to kill himself repeatedly.
yeah. I understand, like doing the same day over and over again for hundreds of days.
And if you cannot get relief from that, that would be prison. That would be hell.
Same people, same breakfasts, same
Yeah.
drinks, same everything, same conversations,
Same
over
music.
and over and over and over.
All the time.
And I know Star Trek did this, I believe, for an episode. A lot of TV series have done this for an episode.
I mean, Star Trek has done so many time travel episodes.
Yeah.
Supernatural did it for an episode, I remember, where one of them was just dying over and over and over and over and over. But yeah, I saw clips from something more modern, where a black guy wakes up in his bed, goes out, does some things, and then in a car he gets pulled over by the cops, and they shoot him. And then he wakes up in his bed. What the
hell?
About his day, it happens again. And then he tries to do anything to stop this from happening. It's very interesting.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a clip about this because he tries to not go into his car and then
Yeah. Cops run over. What are you doing in the streets?
yeah, what are you doing in the streets? Bang, 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 and they're like, God damn it!
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
But that's a very similar concept to this, except that you can't control it.
yeah, but he has a very natural reaction to it though, because eventually he parentheses becomes God because he gets to know everyone, and in one of the later loops, like probably years had passed at that point, he talks to his colleague, which is in the city with him, and he knows everyone, and he knows everything about them, and he can predict like that waitress is going to trip in 5, 4, 3, 2 trip. And then he catches the tray she carries and catches everything on it and just like, here.
He's done it 1,000 times already.
What's the difference between a god and someone who knows everything beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's a fair point.
So here it's
Very
something, so the moral of this story is just he's a dick and he needs to be better.
Yeah.
And once he gets better,
It's a Christmas story.
it stops. Yeah.
Christmas American movie.
And so the groundhog concept is basically that you need to learn something, and we're going to replay this day until you learn it.
Yeah.
And then the loop stops.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I think I've seen like trailers for at least at least one or two like romantic movies where things keep going.
Yeah. Also non-romantic movies. You have the Tom Cruise movie. I don't remember what it's called anymore. The science fiction-y one where he runs around with an exoskeleton.
Yes.
Something.
It's a really good movie.
You know which know which one it is.
Oh, what was it called?
That's the first quiz question. What's that movie called?
Yes.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Hey, you Googled
He cheated.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my job here.
Yeah, he is.
I Google
He's the
things.
one with the computer. Like we don't have one each.
Yeah. Because a podcast is very boring if you sit, oh, what's that again? What's that again? And then we sit there for 5 minutes.
No, because then the listener can also go, oh, it's Edge of Tomorrow. Come on,
it's Edge of Tomorrow. Come on. I know this. Why don't you?
But yeah, that
You
movie
stupid.
is fine. It's an action movie.
Yeah, I mean it's an action movie, but I thought it really did a really good job.
Yeah. It's not excellent. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it is very actiony. It's very Tom Cruise. And the alien shoe-in is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's not necessary, I feel.
But have you seen another recent one on, I think it was on Netflix, The Tomorrow War? That was the name of
The
it.
Tomorrow War, the one with, is it Ryan Reynolds? No.
No,
It's, what's his face?
the guy from Jurassic World.
It's
Jersey World?
Jurassic World.
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. There
Pratt.
we go.
Chris Pratt.
I haven't
Tomorrow
watched
War.
this movie, I think.
No, don't itch.
So-
It's shit.
Oh,
Yeah. He's basically
you.
recruited by his daughter to fight in a war in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels. I mean, if you thought Edge of Tomorrow was meh, this one takes it, and it was. I mean, it had the feeling of like a bad 70s or 80s action movie.
Oh. Yeah.
I haven't seen it myself, but the plot is that they have a war in the future where they basically run out of people to fight it.
Yeah.
So they go back in time to get people to fight it instead.
Yeah, that doesn't work because then you end up with no people.
Pretty much.
It works
Yeah,
if
no,
you...
but if you go
Like,
back three generations, then the parents of the people that you have had fighting the war die, and then those people don't exist.
Depending on how time travel works in this universe.
Yeah, true.
Because it could be branching timelines.
It could be.
But
Then
yeah,
they're kidnapping people from different timelines, which have
and then
nothing
they're
to do with this war.
Then they're just screwing up that timeline
Yeah.
before the war even starts.
Time
Yeah,
travel.
exactly.
But the war would start,
It was-
so they would be screwed anyway, so
True.
why not try?
Uh,
But now I'm not going to watch that movie. Thank you for that.
But I did also watch the Ryan Reynolds one where he steals a time-traveling ship and goes back in time to meet
Adam
himself.
Project.
Yes, Adam Project.
Oh, that's
That one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny at least.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds. So
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds. You can't go wrong with Ryan
even if the movie sucks, it's a good
Right.
movie
Reynolds. Yeah,
because you get something pretty
Funny.
to look at
yes. True.
and funny to laugh at.
But yeah, that movie it's watchable.
Yeah.
It's worth watching.
He meets his younger self, and then they work together to try to save the future.
Yeah.
and then he finds his father by going
He hasn't
even
watched it.
further back. Oh, I don't care. This is a spoilery podcast.
Yes.
Because,
Which is just fine because I really don't have time to watch all these movies.
no, me neither.
But he goes back in time with the spaceship that's able to go back in time, meets himself, and they use the time travel machine in the spaceship, both of them, to go back and save their dad, because he dies around that time or something. And then when they finish, they save Ryan Reynolds' wife.
because she
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of saving. It's worth watching.
and they have basically lightsabers,
Yeah,
and they make the joke that they are lightsabers.
a lightsaber. No, it's not. Okay, it's a lightsaber.
Oh god.
The sound on them is actually quite nice. It's the proper like boom.
It's a more realistic, futuristic lightsaber than
yeah.
the actual lightsaber because it's not a lightsaber. It's
Shock stick, essentially.
Plasma.
Yeah, plasma shock stick type thing.
but the time travel in the Atom Project is not very much on display how it affects everything. But it is a linear time travel
It is
because what they
linear.
do in the past affects the future 100%.
Yes,
There's no like
but
it changes the future. No, but it changes his future as well.
yes, it does, but it doesn't.
What do you mean?
Because he tries to save his wife, but his actions reveal that she's never died. She's just trapped in hiding. And going back in time doesn't really undo anything, actually. The big tycoon lady, businesswoman, I believe she doesn't actually lose anything she had in the future until that time in the future, because they get evidence against her or something like that, because it doesn't get undone.
No.
It just corrects itself somehow.
No, it's like, we went back in time to find evidence of your corruption.
Oh.
That's about it.
Okay.
It doesn't like undo her crimes.
Oh yeah.
So it is very like
It's
predetermined.
But then it is branching. So if they did change anything, it wouldn't affect the future.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Which
They bring things from the past into the future to change the future.
Yeah, so it's like
It is a fully
all time travel is very like if you don't stick to it 100%.
Yeah, it has to be very like properly laid out if it's supposed to make good sense.
One of the biggest issues with time travel is the grandfather complex. No, paradox. Grandfather paradox.
Go back
if you
and
go,
kill your
which you
grandfather.
can see in Back to the Future, if you go back in time and interact with something. So I think the example is
Especially
if you're a huge fan of Mozart, you know all his works, and you want to go back in time, so you do, to meet him, and then you accidentally kill Mozart, but you know all his works, so you just write it out.
Yeah, so
Are you Mozart? Did you inspire yourself? Because then that shouldn't work.
There's a movie called Yesterday. It's about the Beatles.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. So basically, a guy wakes up one day.
That one's actually very worth watching.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Okay. He wakes up one day and nobody knows about the Beatles. Except
the
for
Beatles,
him.
the band.
He knows every song, every lyric, everything. He knows about them, but no one else knows about them. They never existed.
And he's a repeatedly failed musician himself.
And I'm not going to spoil anything on this one because we're not talking about it too much.
But you should watch it. It's nice.
Yes, this sounds like a movie that I should watch.
It's Beatles music plus a little bit of modern influence-ish.
Ed Sheeran.
But yeah, a little bit of modern influence and technically time travel, kind of.
Yeah,
time travel mystery.
The reason why I brought it up at this point is because the effects of what you're talking about could cause what's happening in that movie. So if someone went back, killed the Beatles,
and became the Beatles,
and it had some weird effect on the universe.
Well, that's depending on how time travel works.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, that it could cause like some people to remember, some people to forget for some reason, like if that's how it works.
Well, technically, if it's the splitting reality is multiverse theory, then you go to a separate universe killed the Beatles there before they become popular.
Yep.
So you have always been the Beatles. You, the person, and the group you play with have always been the Beatles
in that
place.
Yeah.
But if it's not splitting, then and it's like a loop, then it should be a paradox, because you can't go back, replace something that inspired you to do the thing in the first place. You understand what I mean?
It's like killing Hitler as a baby.
Yeah, because if you kill Hitler as a baby, then Hitler never existed. So why should you go back in time and kill this random baby?
Yeah. And that would, to make that work, you would have to have branching realities. You would have, if you go back, a new reality, a new branch is made. And that is basically the Avengers Endgame style of time travel.
Yep. It's the most common time travel.
Yeah. If you go back and take something out of the past, then a new branch is made. And that made the entire Loki TV series.
Yes. Which is very good.
TVA.
The Loki TV series.
It is fantastic. Yeah.
Muy bien.
Where they go back into they go to different realities and blow them up.
Yes.
Because they're destroying the world by branching. That's interesting.
Yes. Very good TV series.
But that causes, as I wanted to talk about a specific thing in Avengers Endgame, and that is Captain America. Because he broke everything they'd said about the time travel in the movie from before.
Oh yeah, don't interact with yourself. Don't disturb the timeline except for the one specific thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and he went back in time and stayed back in time.
Yep.
And with his wife that had already died in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And she had died with kids and a husband that was not him.
Mm-hmm.
How then is he in their future? He should have been in a branch reality, so they should have never met him in the future. And he should never have been able to give the shield to Anthony Mackie or
But I mean,
Falcon.
We don't really know how he got back to that. I mean, he could have found some way through Loki business, like in the Loki series, to get to that specific.
But that means he would have had to end up. His new branch would have had to branch so far out that they would have been much further in the development of technology in relation to dimension jumping, which
or
maybe
he got in contact with the bureau that Loki.
The TVA.
Yeah. It is possible.
Highly unlikely.
But I think it was just like, we're going to be nice and give Steve Rogers his wife.
The big thing that he could have changed, that would have changed a lot of the future, is they could have fought a lot of crime. Stop World War II.
The Vietnam War?
No, yeah, because his story starts at the end of
the Second World War.
II, so that he wouldn't have done that, but he could have stopped a lot of bad stuff, and that could have probably enhanced technology. It would probably have had the inverse effect on technology, because a lot of technology comes out of war.
Yeah, it's possible.
The problem with that is a very sad thing, which is technology is spurred on by war, which is very sad.
Yeah.
Innovation by conflict.
Yeah, innovation by conflict, exactly.
Yeah.
So if he stopped the wars, then
technology
it would actually regress.
Yeah.
So...
but they might be further on in culture.
But the big thing I'm thinking about is that he might have killed Thanos very early, because he would have known about Thanos before Thanos was even born. Probably. I don't know how old Thanos is at that point. But if he stopped Thanos, that would have stopped the 5-year gap where no one was able to do anything. He might have been able to push Tony and everyone else.
There's a lot of speculation that he could have done.
Then maybe he could have done.
But the problem is, again, they didn't explain the time travel properly.
Yeah. The reality is that Chris...
Pratt?
No.
Hemsworth?
No, that's Thor. Chris Evans? No.
Chris Evans, Chris Evans.
There we go.
The actor who played
There are
Captain
3
America.
Chris's.
Too many Chris's.
Yeah.
3.
He
God damn.
didn't want to continue being Captain America, so they had to write him out.
Yeah.
That was a good ending.
Yeah, it was.
It just didn't fit the lore, really.
Nope.
So
it didn't.
It
didn't match the sciencey bits.
Common problem with
time travel
is that if you don't define your rules and stick to them, it breaks.
Yeah, it breaks.
Easily.
And someone's gonna nitpick it.
Yeah.
Like 3 nerdy boys in a room with microphones.
But at least in my headcanon, I feel that it would fit very well that the Bureau in the Loki series would have found him at some point. I mean, especially since Steve Rogers goes back and beats himself up.
Yeah. he
Kicked
does.
America's ass.
Yeah, but he does, and I cannot believe that he does nothing like vigilanteing, like beating up criminals while his actual body is frozen. He must have done something.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, the TVA would have shown up.
Yeah.
At the second he changed something.
Yeah, because they have like monitors monitoring
so they
stuff
do
like
excuse the actual movie time travel with that's the main timeline, and the changes they do are for the main timeline. And
actually, if they did intervene, that would explain a lot, because then he could take his wife and just take them back to their his original timeline, and then they wouldn't be there.
No.
Like they wouldn't be there. Just she would be dead, new identity. He would be frozen, effectively dead, new identity.
Yeah.
Right.
Finito.
But she wasn't dead before she was old. She lived a normal life in the main timeline.
Yeah.
So there would have been two of her in the main timeline.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, but still it would work, because she would just need to be a different person.
Yeah.
A different name.
Yeah, that would be just like in the end of Primer. That's
But do you see Kang actually doing this or allowing this? Because Kang is the TVA at that point.
I doubt it.
Unless that serves his purpose somehow.
Yeah,
it's possible. You don't know. We don't know. Maybe he wanted Falcon to become Captain America so that he had a weaker Captain America to fight or something like that. Who knows?
It's very possible.
Yeah. But now Captain America can fly, so that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But that's beside the point.
He's also physically weaker. He is. He's not superpowered.
That's true. But he's got technology now.
He does. He knows references now.
So should we do a quiz? And then,
Get something for us.
I have the quiz. The quiz is ready.
Cool.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready, we're ready. Should we do buzzers?
Yes, what's your buzzers?
Oh, I wanted to make the Doctor Who breaking sound, but I can't do it with my voice. I'm just going to do it here. Beep pop.
Beep pop. Okay, so...
That's from K9.
Oh, yes. In the 1984 film The Terminator, how many human beings are depicted traveling through time?
1.
That's correct. So very easy for Chris Munder, for some reason.
Yeah.
Perhaps the classic time loop movie of all time is Groundhog Day. If it features an egotistical and self-centered reporter who is stuck reliving Groundhog Day over and over and over again, infinitely. Which American actor, also known for his role on Ghostbusters and comedic star on SNL, played the role of Phil Connors?
Beep up.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Yes, it's Bill Murray.
We just Googled that in our
so that's a bit
but I did know.
Slightly cheating.
Yeah, and he hasn't seen it. So.
Yeah, so I'll only give you half a point for that one.
I can picture the guy, but I didn't remember his name.
It's Bill Murray. The travelers in this film need a DeLorean driving at 88 miles per hour and 1.2...
Back to the Future. But what's your question?
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Okay, good.
So easy.
Yeah. That was one of the very easy ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
In what cult popular movies Let's Do the Time Warp Again performed?
The Rocky Horror Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I haven't
Let's
seen it yet.
do the time.
We've talked about this before, and you know I haven't seen it. That's my
it.
fault, not his fault.
In the movie Interstellar, what object does Joseph Cooper interact with from within the Tesseract to communicate with his daughter in the past? Like physical object does he interact with in the time-space in fourth dimension?
Beep up. Is it a mirror?
No.
I got nothing. I haven't seen
Nothing?
No.
You haven't seen it? No. You need to watch that one. It's actually very good.
But it's very long time ago. I know I only watched it one time.
So I can give you a hint, both of you.
I was thinking a book as the second thing.
Closer. So the room that he observes when he does manipulate something is the bedroom of his daughter from behind the bookshelf. No.
So it's not a book.
You haven't watched it, so this is unfair. You get no points. The wristwatch. He touches the hand on the wristwatch, which affects dust, revealing Morse code in the dust on the bookshelf.
Something very intricate.
It's very, very, very specific. In the comedy film Galaxy Quest, a spoof of the Star Trek television series, the Omega 13 is a device used to travel back in time. How far back in time can it go?
Beep up.
Yeah.
12 years.
No. Rasmuno?
I haven't actually seen it.
2 weeks.
No. I can give you a hint. There is a hint in the question.
Beep up.
Mm?
13 days.
Nope. It's
I don't remember.
The length of one Star Trek episode.
no, that would be very sad. So you get no points, both of you.
No.
What was
So
the
it's a
answer?
very inefficient. It's a spoof movie. So the Omega 13 is a device used to travel back in time. It travels back in time 13 seconds. Very efficient. You can do a lot with 13 seconds.
No.
Nah.
Hey, I was closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, I believe you win because I only gave you half
I got
a point.
Back to the Future. That's a
You
full
both
point.
got back
That's
that.
a full point.
You both got that one.
I got it first. That's the
Okay.
point of a
I-
quiz,
I was just waiting to see if it was a trick question.
Yeah, I didn't. I
you
usually wait.
you gotta go fast. If you think you know the answer, then just go.
I've been known in this quiz to always wait too long and always to be too uncertain.
Yeah, and then I win.
So from now on, I'm just jumping in and then
So if
hoping.
you're arguing that you were first, then you got 1.5 points, and you got 1 point.
So we're even. Let's say we're even.
Yeah, sure.
You cheated with Bill Murray, and he hasn't
But
watched the movie.
I also knew Bill Murray, and I'm very good with names.
You
and
are
facts.
very-
Yeah, and I'm very horrible with names.
Same
so-
as me. Fantastic. We can get.
That's my superpower.
Yeah, that's my weakness, my kryptonite, quite literally.
But I'm not that good. I'm just a lot better than you are.
Yeah. So that's the quiz. We'll say evens.
Yeah.
Even splits
Yeah.
this time.
We get it both.
Since
of us.
since Chris is new.
Yeah, and since I cheated on Bill Murray.
Yeah. You hadn't.
And I waited too long on Back to the
So-
Future.
Back to the Future.
I had a question. Which time traveling device is your favorite in any movie, TV series, comic, game
Time traveling device.
device?
Which one I enjoy the most, or which one makes the most sense?
No,
What
which
do you-
one you like the
And-
best?
And
Yeah.
just as a machine or the mechanic of it?
Let's start with the machine and then time travel mechanic after.
All right, and TARDIS without that.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
in one of the episodes, she literally becomes a woman, which is like very weird. Oh, hello, sexy. And it's like, you know what you call me, sexy. It's like,
So weird. But it's also so fantastic because it can be so many things.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Mm.
infinitely
And it's-
large. It has
And,
a
and TARDIS is sentient, which is very important.
Yeah.
That was a huge part.
Mhm.
And
It is-
I like especially a lot of the episodes in is it 13th Doctor when they explore a lot more in the TARDIS, the back rooms.
Yeah, so the big chin boy, I believe.
Big Chin Boy.
I don't remember his name. Huge chin.
I think
The
it's
actor
like
has a
old
huge
man,
chin. Hmm?
The old man.
Oh.
Uh,
Yeah. I
Peter
know what you mean.
Capaldi.
Yeah. Peter Capaldi.
That's the actor's name.
Yes.
Because then they do a lot more like running and walking around and
Going to the
TARDIS.
like fusion core or
Yeah.
whatever, and
A lot of the earlier depictions have just been the main room and the underneath sometimes. Especially the earlier ones, it's just a small room, but
Yeah, and
it's
talk-
still bigger on the inside.
and they
but
talk about the different rooms,
Yeah.
like when he like
But the
I
pool-
fell in
Yeah,
the
but
pool.
We never
Yeah.
see
You have
any
a
of it.
pool?
No.
Yeah.
And then when you
the
do
dressing room and
in
Yeah.
some episodes there, you do get to see like the dressing rooms and stuff like that, and I feel like that's fun. I want to see a lot more of the insides of the TARDIS in
Yeah.
future episodes.
Possible.
yeah.
Yeah, and if they do like make a couple of them, they can have them in more episodes because they can make the sets and keep them.
Yeah.
So why not do it? Most
Because
of
they
the-
have the hallways already.
yeah, and a lot
which
of
is
the
same mostly.
a lot of the Doctor Who universe has to be built from scratch every single episode because
Yeah.
time travel.
Or digital
Yeah.
videography.
But that's also made from scratch,
Yeah.
even though it's a digital set.
But yeah, the TARDIS I think
Yep.
would be the favorite one.
Do you have any favorite time travel mechanic?
I do like silly ones, but I don't have a specific one like the 13 seconds back in time.
Yeah.
Because if you had it available at like reflex speed, like someone's going to punch you and then like 13 seconds back in time. Haha!
Yeah, if you have like
And you just
a spot-
dodge. Yeah, just
stopwatch dude.
I like a lot of the speed-based ones because they are closer to real. Because the only real way that we know of to travel in time
is to travel
go
fast enough.
fast.
Yeah, but even that time travel is, as far as we know, theory-wise now, if you go fast enough, you go slower through time.
Yeah.
That's it.
No.
Yeah, that is actually something that's very prominent in the Hyperion novels, the old sci-fi novels.
Mm.
And
You know, Ender's Game.
Mm.
yeah, that one.
They also have in this later books, because there's more than one book, they have
Yeah.
a lot of this like time dilation.
You've told me
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I remember the like actual physics theory about it, the faster you go, the slower your personal time is perceived.
Your perception of time is slower.
Well, no, your perception of time is the same, but others' perception of you is that you move very slowly.
Yeah.
Through time, I mean. Not speed-wise.
No,
Speed-wise, you're
but you
going
actually
very fast.
you go faster in time. So basically, if you
So
take a spaceship from
yeah.
Earth and you go close to the speed of light away from Earth, say for 15 years maybe, you go away from Earth and then back again. Say you spend 15 years. On the Earth, time would have been like 300 years. And you would come back to everyone being
Then I
dead
remember
and-
it incorrectly then. Anyway.
So basically, you go forward in time, and this has been tested like with watches on the International Space Station,
Yeah.
because that goes very fast around the Earth.
Yep.
I think it's like 13 times a day it goes past. It circles the Earth, and that sort of makes me like Back to the Future with the car that goes 88 miles per hour, and the Flash, which is a lot closer to real, except that he goes back in time, not forward. He goes forward as well, I think.
He goes forward and back.
Yeah. How does he choose? Anyway,
Yeah, I have no idea.
there are different ones. I know that he goes
North
into the
and
time.
south.
Yeah.
A lot of the explanation is that he goes into the time stream and then can choose where to go.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It
That's
still
when he
doesn't make
control-
sense.
No, not at all. And how does he? When he doesn't understand it, how does he get to the same point twice? Because
Yeah.
I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a comic.
It's a comic.
But he does go close to the speed of light or faster than the speed
Faster
of
than
light,
the speed
and
of
then
light.
and travels in time.
Yep.
And that
But they do the same thing in Star Trek, so it's not consistent.
No.
They travel at FTL, faster than light,
Yeah.
which
no,
doesn't...
no. But what they do, they don't actually travel that fast. They travel through sort of like pockets. They travel. Through,
Oh, yeah, they travel kind of through wormholes, but not really,
No.
which is like very weird.
Yeah. So they travel fast, but in sort of like a pocket dimension. That depends on what.
Because you have kind of the same thing in Warhammer, which is they travel through the warp, but in the warp, time is like almost not a concept. It's not like
Yeah, so
time.
it's
What's that?
So it's almost like a time stop.
Yeah,
while they
well,
travel?
time stop / time stretch / time fast forward, because you can go. You're gonna go like 100 miles from here, and then you go through the warp from this specific point.
Yeah.
The 100 miles would take you, let's say, 2 hours through normal travel. But since you went through the warp, you might have arrived there yesterday, in 2 years from now, or in half an hour.
Yeah, so it's a very unreliable
Yes,
time-wise.
exceptionally unreliable time-wise. But distance-wise, very effective.
So if you're a fledgling sci-fi author out there, remember time dilation.
Yes, time
It's
dilation.
very important.
Yes.
So in the Ender Games series, when you get past the first book, it gets a lot more technical and sciencey and a lot more traveling, because he's traveling the world telling people that these are good people,
Yeah.
the guys he killed. And then his traveling, so he travels a lot and talks a lot on different planets. His traveling basically puts him forward in time every single time he travels.
Yeah.
So when he eventually comes back around,
It's
everything
been
is
several
just-
hundred years
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And he has a sister as well. She's in the. I don't remember if she's in the movie, but she's
in the movie. She has
also,
siblings.
She also does a lot of traveling, and so when they meet up, they compare notes to how old they are and stuff like that, which is pretty
I like
interesting.
that. I like that.
But another real world example is they sent a twin up to the ISS. When he came back down, they checked sort of like their
Yeah, they were
biological clock and
chronologically
everything.
different ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
It's very trippy, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
technically time travel.
And that's sort of
It
like
is.
one of the biggest problems with traveling to different planets. How do we get to a different planet? Yeah, we go close to the speed of light.
I don't know what movie brought it up, but there's been a couple, I believe, which is if you send a ship to Mars now, like today, if that takes 13 years of very high-speed travel, then more time would have passed on Earth, so giving us time to make faster ships that would catch up to the first one.
You'd
And
have
then
to go
even faster
further
ships
than-
that would go past those ships.
Yep.
So it's like
that is a trippy thought experiment.
So like you send the first one, and when that one arrives, there are 7 ships already there. It's like, what the hell?
I remember this from a book that I read where they were going to a Goldilocks planet to settle it.
Yeah.
And they arrived, they started doing everything, and then someone new arrived. And they were born like 100 years after the first guys left the planet. And so they just arrived with all the technology and everything. That's just, wow.
Yeah, so it's like, we're going to terraform it. It's going to terraform this planet slightly.
Yep.
And it's like, we need to make the technology, and then a second ship arrives and, no, we got that. It's fine.
Yeah, and all of that's just based on science.
Yeah.
It's not quite science, but it's
close enough.
Close enough.
I feel like these concepts come up a lot more in novels and literature. Because I was thinking about this before I came here. And just as like this is a small experiment, just try and think of in popular media how many of these time travel stories do time paradoxes or have that as like the main problem or thing that's going on.
You do have it in Doctor Who a couple of times, the series. Amongst other, the big one is when the Master makes humans from the future attack and kill humans from their own past. But he uses the TARDIS to make a paradox engine, kind of, which stabilizes the timeline. Like in Primer, that should also have been a paradox, actually.
Yeah. A lot of the time they go back and meet themselves or somebody close to them or something. Just for this idea of meeting somebody you could have known in a former life or something.
Yeah.
And then fuck something up and try and fix it.
Yeah.
A good movie depicting time dilation is Interstellar.
Yeah, that's
when
time
they
dilation.
land on the planet close to the black hole, and they leave it again, but leave someone behind.
So I believe it's one day on that planet is like 13 years in real space. It's so close to the black hole that even time is sucked in. So the time on the planet is dilated. So each second is longer in real space, which is one day on the planet is X amount of time outside of the planet.
Yeah, because the planet goes faster.
No, it goes slower.
This is always something that confuses me every time about time travel. So it's like,
let's leave that one there. Yeah,
which way are we going?
That's very interesting when they come back and it's like,
yeah, because I saw a YouTube video about it, which was they could technically leave and rescue the person that was stranded if he survived on that planet, but they would have to wait until the thing happened. I'm not going to spoil too much because it's a very good movie. You should watch it. But they would have to wait until the thing happened, and that would be like 2 or 3 years for them in space to wait until they can go and rescue this person that they lost.
Oh,
they would have been dead by that time, probably.
They would have to go into stasis again.
Yeah.
So and they would lose resources anyway. But time dilation, very fun.
That's the right kind of time travel for me.
Yeah. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Also D&D relevant because you have the spell time stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amongst others, and haste and
time stop is basically going fast.
Well, things going very slow in the space.
Yeah.
Time stop.
Except for you.
It depends on what way you see it.
Yeah. I see
if you're inside a bubble that's impenetrable from the outside, are you going very fast, or is everything outside going very fast? Depending on what is stopped, is the outside stopped, or is the inside stopped, or slow down?
Yeah. Just thinking that you can't stop time, but you can speed up and start time.
Yeah,
slowing down time still doesn't.
And it would probably be easier to speed up time inside the bubble and than speed up time outside everything else.
It also depends on who's observing.
Yeah,
if it's stopped or slowed down. It's slowed down.
And I would say that time stop or time slow implies that you slow down the passage of time. So haste does the opposite. You make yourself faster.
Time isn't a static thing; it's observed.
Oh yeah,
which means that it doesn't slow down or speed up. It just goes different.
It's perceived differently.
It's perceived differently.
Yeah.
So the spellcaster would perceive time as slowed down, while the people who's gets the spell cast on them, or
Still,
Yeah.
still
Will
perceive it
perceive time as
as
this
normal.
yeah, but on him they would see it as faster.
Yeah.
Or teleportation. Really,
they would
but
be a blur
Yeah.
of movement.
It's very interesting.
It's very fun. I like the concept of time manipulation.
I would have
Very good
loved
superpower to have.
I would have loved to see the Ender's Game movies made, the rest of them, in the Ender's series, the ones with the time travel. No, not the time travel, but the space
Time dilation.
time
Yes.
dilation.
Mm.
Because I want to see more time dilation depicted properly in a positive way, not the interstellar way,
Ah,
where it's a problem to overcome, but it's
Yeah.
actually, this is how the world works. How do we live our lives with time dilation? How do we travel between the stars with time dilation? Because usually you just cheat and you say that you have wormholes.
I believe they bring it up in The Expanse, don't they?
Mm,
Just like time dilation, I mean, not time travel.
They probably have a little bit of time dilation, but the Expanse
but
is
it's
in our
not-
local cluster, right?
Yeah.
It's
At least
basically
they
to
do
the,
bring-
yeah. the outer belts.
Yeah,
That's the
but they,
furthest.
they do bring up differing gravity,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah.
The Martians are innately stronger than
Yeah, and the
baseline humans.
and the belters are very weak.
yeah. It's like
Aren't they,
but-
wouldn't Martians be weaker than humans because of lower gravity? Because Mars is small, isn't Mars smaller?
no, Mars is huge. I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well,
I thought Mars gravity was a little bit lower.
You can
than
Google
Earth. Yeah, I am.
But
going
yeah, it's actually brought up in Warhammer because you can be from a space station, and if you do, you have lower strength, but you
Yeah.
have higher intellect because you have high education usually.
Mm.
Or if you're from a primal planet, you have higher strength because possibly higher gravity.
Yeah, gravity on Mars is 3.7 meters per second squared.
Oh, so it's less
Earth
than
is
Earth.
Earth is
Okay,
9.8.
so it was the opposite of what I said. So
It's about
Earthlings are strong
1/3.
and Martians are weak.
But they are. I feel like I remember from the book that they are longer and lankier. And
Yeah.
all of that, and the belters are even like the
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
to be
Stretched
fair,
out.
we have proof of this actually because you have space station employees like astronauts. When they come back to Earth, they are taller than they were when they went up because the joints.
Space station employees.
NASA employees, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just
Big brain.
great
Very-
phrasing.
It's very interesting how they are prescribed exercise up there,
Yeah,
because if not, their muscles will just wither away because they're not using them.
very fast
Yeah.
actually.
And so you have to go on a treadmill with belts
Mm.
holding you down to be able to run on it.
Yeah,
Stuff like that is very cool.
it's actually muscle atrophy is actually quite horrible. My father went into a very short chemical coma because reasons. I think it was 1 or 2 weeks, and he lost like all of his muscle mass.
Yeah.
He was
Same thing.
so if his arm was this thick before, and by this I mean like 2 times my hand length, then it was like this around his upper arm afterwards. He had nothing afterwards. He lost everything.
You can see that on people who's used a.
I think it was 2
cast
weeks.
after breaking something. When
Yeah.
you use a cast for a while.
And the leg is smaller.
Yeah, and it's very cool to
Oh.
see like the difference between the arms, for example, or the legs. Or
So if I broke my arm like today and in 2 weeks or a month or something later, this arm would be smaller than my right arm because I haven't been able to move it.
just your day-to-day moving stuff.
Yeah.
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 Just like picking up a pen.
That's also why heavier people become stronger in the legs, and that's why Martians are weaker than Earth.
And shorter.
Yeah, and
No, taller. I mean.
Taller, yeah.
Taller.
because they're not weighed down by
Yeah.
gravity.
I would be so tall on Mars.
Anyway, we have yet again come to the end of an episode.
Yes.
So I want to thank Krissi for joining us.
Yes, very nice of him.
Yes.
I'm going to call you
Very good.
Krissi because I'm not going to butcher your
Smundur.
native name.
Yeah, just leave it as it.
Krissi. Okay, fair enough.
Krissi is good. Yeah. Anyway,
works fine.
if you guys enjoy what we're doing, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please hit the notification bell below to be alerted every time we upload a new video. Thank you for listening and have a magical day. Bye, nerds.
Bye.